Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Diluvian Wins. This is a game that you can find on Steam's Early Access program for about $18, and I stress Early Access. That means everything that you're about to see here is subject to change. This isn't going to be a full-blown review because the game is missing some features that I think are very important. For example, certain screen resolutions are just completely missing from the game. 2560 by 1440, is it? They've got the 4K resolution, but they don't have the step below it, but they have 1920 by 1080. Kind of weird. Another thing that they're missing are difficulty settings. Right now, the game is stuck on normal difficulty, and easy and hard are quote-unquote coming soon. So I would prefer to play it on an easier experience, but that's just me. There is no sandbox mode, so you're just going to play chapter after chapter. It's part of the story mode. So what are you doing in this game? Well, it's kind of similar to Spiritfarer graphically. You're going to be, instead of managing a ship, you're going to be managing a lighthouse, and you're going to be constructing buildings within a very limited area. Hopefully there's a way to upgrade that area later down the road like you can in Spiritfarer, but I didn't see anything like that yet. So you are in charge of this lighthouse, and your goal is to keep the fire lit in the lighthouse. There are 4 parts to a day, and the very first part of the day, the dawn phase, you will have the opportunity to welcome new temporary workers in. They don't hang around. They'll stay for so many days and then they leave. So you get to pick who you want to invite onto the island temporarily. They will go to work and do various things, and then they'll leave. And then in between, you have to keep them fed. You can task them with gathering resources. Getting back to the 4 phases of the day, the dawn phase is where you can welcome people in, and on top of that, you can resolve various disputes they have. If their morale drops too low, then they get angry at you and they don't want to work. The next part of the day is the morning phase, and here you'll be able to assign them to do various tasks. Typically, the tasks are the buildings that you have built. However, each race or species of character in this game has their own unique set of blueprints. So by bringing this particular species on board, at least the island temporarily, you can use them to build this particular building type. If you don't want them to build, again, you can have them work in buildings. Certain species are better at certain things than others. So this species might be good at collecting bugs. This one might be good at getting vegetables and so on. You have to construct housing for them. Some of these residents will require specific things. They're picky sometimes. Some come and don't have any requirements whatsoever or any requests that you have to worry about. But typically during this phase of the game, you're going to be, this is like the worker placement in the board game world, and in the video game world, you're just assigning these people to various rooms to do various things. And then after it's all said and done, you collect these resources. You can also upgrade the armor on these buildings to combat storms and the like. Anyway, getting to the next phase, which is the dusk phase, this is where you can feed your people, and you can sort of throw various foods into the pot, and if you haven't put in that particular combination before, then it'll discover a new recipe for you, and it'll tell you what the effect is. And this is kind of important because this will affect the people's morale. If they're too unhappy, then they won't work. But typically, just feeding them, a lot of food will make them happy, and then they'll work better later on. Lastly, there's the night phase where you just have to light the fire with the wood that you have available. Over time, you'll unlock new resources to light this fire, but this is important because that's how the caravans come in. With low fire, typically the caravan may not come around or whatever. It takes time for the caravan to arrive. With a higher fire, the better the caravan gets there, the faster it gets there. And that's important because you need workers. So, again, and that's sort of the gameplay loop. You go back to the very first phase of the day, the dawn phase, and you welcome new people in, assuming there are any to welcome in. And if there are any set to leave the island, they will leave at that point. So there's an ever shuffling of workers in this game that are good at different things. And that's the micromanagement of this game, trying to figure out okay, I've got this person good at this, but they're leaving soon, but I have a storm coming and I really need to use the wood that I have to safeguard these rooms from being flooded out. Yeah, there's weather effects in this game as well. I should probably mention that too. On occasion, there are nasty storms, and they will flood out and damage buildings, and you can use wood to sort of safeguard them to make them better. But there's a little weather meter on the right, so you can see what's kind of coming. Anyway, getting back to the whole thing, you're shuffling this population throughout the game, trying to make use of their abilities and their skills while they're there. And that's where the micromanagement part comes into play. Overall, it's not a bad game. Again, it's still early access, so I don't want to comment on it too much. At first, it was a little confusing, but after a few rounds or days, whatever you want to call them, it became fairly easy to play. Again, without an easy mode, I'm not really encouraged to play it because I'm a busy guy and I don't have time to like min-max things to make things work the most efficiently. But I like the idea of just growing an island, like putting more buildings down. I'm kind of bummed that there doesn't seem to be any way to upgrade the space on this island so that you can build more stuff. It's like the developers forcing you to choose what you want to put there. I look forward, though, to seeing what other buildings I can unlock over time. Like, compared to Spiritfar has a lot more theme. It's more gruesome. I love it. Spiritfar hit me in a way that I've never been hit before, at least rarely. Very few games have made me actually physically tear up. This game, I feel like, tries to be like Spiritfar in graphics and the whole building area thing, but it's more lighthearted. Keep a lighthouse going and feed your workers and keep people happy in the meantime. So, like, it's not a bad game, like I said. It's just, I feel like it's still missing a lot of things that would make me, in order for me to fully enjoy this game, I would need to see more. Well, that's it. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Take care.